Good afternoon.
So is your word again today, band camp?
That was so funny. So let me look at this text thread. So John, when someone said say my name, I think that was you. It reminded me of the Beyonce song from what was that band? Destiny's Child. Say my name, right? So I sent that to him, the video. I texted that to John, and then he replied he was thinking of American Pie, the movie. And then I replied, that reminds me of a story from band camp. Do you remember the movie American
I
Pie?
don't remember that movie, no.
Oh, so there was just some.
Anyway, I figured you guys had something going on there because it was very out of the ordinary. And it's all how you both reacted. Band camp. And you like my Wellington Road.
I like the Wellington way.
Yeah.
And if that were the case, I would be there with my checkbook in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think I would be like, I'm buying it sight unseen.
What's the price range in Wellington?
Oh gosh, 700 plus all day long. There's just like such a dichotomy over there because there are single family homes with no HOA. And then there are houses with stables for their horses. And they're to and fro from each other. So it's Zillow prepares its estimate. They look at like the geography, and those disproportionately sized homes throw off everyone else's home. So I have a listing there right now for 750, and the seller had in the past received a postcard that is automatically generated from realtors that send out values with estimates, and it said his home was worth 1.2 or 1.8. And he said, Louise, like, look at this. And I said, ask the agent if they'll buy your home for that price.
Well. I got you as co-host, Louise, in case I miss somebody. Tanner, you've been playing hooky.
Good day, everyone. Nice to be here again. Thank you.
Tom, you're having a hard time logging in. It says joining. Got Roxanne, Kevin Dolan, and got Kevin in San Francisco. Mark, Roxanne. So that's a song. Like Sting or somebody.
Is
Rod
Roxanne
Stewart.
is Roxanne wearing a red dress?
I don't know. I just see her head. Here we go. It's 1 o'clock. They're all coming in. Here we go. Allow recording. Well, I don't know. We have these otter plots again. I think I like that. All right, guys. Well, welcome to Denny Grimes here. It is Friday, and it is Mastery Level Role Play Day, where we're doing mastery, question-based, listed, enhanced conversations. We can do anything. It's Friday. We can be outbound calls, which is a real source of great income, or at the table objections. It is March 22nd, 2024. And so my reminder for you guys today, I haven't done this lately. Right now, as of today, we're 817 subscribers to my YouTube. I'd love you to go ahead and subscribe and get the bell, and you might get notified when we have other, every week we post something, right? So again, that's Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate, if you could do that. And if you're not on our daily role play called Recon, this is a Keller Williams idea. However, it's open to anyone. They don't have to be Keller Williams. There's the QR code. Louise is my co-host, and so we're going to start today on any type of objection you want. And what we want to do here, if you're new, is make sure it's question-based. So somehow, Tanner, you kind of moved up to first place. And so you are on. And Louise, this camera's off. She'll be back, I'm sure. And so what are we doing today, Tanner? And let's drill down and let's demonstrate mastery level conversations.
Thank you, Denny. So, Denny, I took a listing about 2 months ago, and it was moved 2 properties. It's an investor. And I had a conversation today actually in regards to repositioning the property, and I've got tough kind of objections, and I would prefer me to be like the client and you would be the agent if you don't mind.
Okay, good. I eat sellers for breakfast. All right. Here we go. All right, so this is going to be on the phone. And set it up. Tell me how long has it been on the market, what kind of activity you're getting, etc.
So when we first, at the presentation, we agreed. I asked, how long do you want to try this price? I agreed whatever she wanted, and she said at least 60 days. And I gave her the spiel. In 60 days, if we don't get anything, I just don't want you to think that I'm a magician. So the conversation was clear. Every 10 days, I've been giving her the update of how many views, what we've been doing basically. And now it's at the point, it's 76 days. And again, I had a conversation about, repositioning, and the first thing.
Got it. All right, Tanner, I'm calling you 76 days. How many days? That's 10 weeks. All right, Tanner, hey, this is Friday. You know what that is? It's our weekly call.
Thank you, Denny. Yeah.
Have you been looking forward to my call?
Yeah.
Oh, you're lying. All right. Well, the bottom line, the routine. I sent you basically the 3 outcome sheet. We had 0 showings this week. We've been on the market now for 10 weeks. And based on the activity we've had, we didn't have any in the last week. What outcome do you feel we're at?
It's disappointing that we don't have anyone, Denny, but I don't know, maybe it's too much for you. These are 2 properties.
Too much for me?
Yeah.
What do you mean too much for me?
I mean, it's a big deal. I'm not sure, if it's too of a big deal for you or something. I don't know. Just
well, when you say big, is it like too many square feet or too much, too big asking price? What are you saying?
Off the script, Denny, that's what I got. I'm just playing that. I'm sorry,
Well, you got to be the seller. Is that what the seller would tell you? It's too much?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I was hoping you would, get it sold because I was really impressed with your presentation.
Well, let's go back. Now, there is the outcome sheet. If you don't have it, take a screenshot of that real quick. I'm going to go back to whenever you're having a difficult conversation with a client, you've got to go back to the motivation. And so let's just go back a little bit. Back when we met about 10 weeks ago, you told me you wanted to sell, and the reason you wanted to sell was what?
Well, it's an investment property. I need to collect the money and reinvest it into something else.
Okay, and the reason you want to do that is why?
Denny, we used to have it as Airbnb business, but right now in New York City, it's not, it's difficult. So we try to move the portfolio somewhere else. That's the reason.
So are you saying it's not performing as well as you want?
That's correct.
So let me ask you, have you thought about, okay, so when this sells, you're going to take that equity and do something else. Do you know where you're going to go with that equity?
Yes, we're moving everything to Florida, Georgia, those markets pretty much.
So I'm going to stop right now. And so Tanner, you have to freeze. I'm going to go to my team. I've got a team of agents. I got 20 agents on the phone or on there. So where am I going? Remember, we're going back to motivation. However, I want to find out if you're tracking with me on my thinking.
You're trying to create an opportunity for pain.
All right, tell me more, Garrett.
Well, if you can provide the pain and get him to admit that it'd be more painful to keep it on the market versus, obviously drop the price where the market is, it's going to be beneficial for him to kind of see it your way.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Right. So what I'm doing, you're about as almost the nail on the head on the nail, or whatever it happens to go, is that I want him to think in terms of, okay, it's I led him to admit it's underperforming, which means it would perform better somewhere else. So Garrett's absolutely right. I'm leading him to the pain. So, all right, so I'm going to step back in. So Tanner, let me ask you, so when this sells, you're going to go in and you're going to get the other investment property. How much more is that going to make you?
I mean, I don't know that part, Danny. You know, I just and we got different options, but at this point, I just need to get rid. And this is one of the many properties I have, so we need to just sell this one for now.
Okay, so would you admit that this is underperforming and your next one will be a better performer, right? So there is a cost for every week you have this and that you don't sell it, right?
It looks like, yeah.
Okay, so we're clear on your motivation, and it's costing you money to hold the property. Now let's go back to the beginning when we had a conversation about positioning. Did I go over with you the 3 outcomes?
Yes, yeah, we went.
Have I reminded you of the 3 outcomes?
Yes, we did.
Do you agree with the 3 outcomes?
I mean, yeah, pretty much it's straightforward, yeah.
Okay, so we're outcome 1. And you say that it's too much for me. I say it's too much for the market. What do you have to say about that?
Well, Danny, you know, I need that money. I need the $3.9 million. I spent a lot of money on this property. It's brand new. You know, even the door costs like 10 grand. So I need that money. And you're the expert. Whatever you have to do, it's on you.
So let me ask you this question. You're going to pull in and get gas. The guy that owns the gas station has got hard luck going on. He's got some medical bills. He's got some student loans to pay off. So instead of charging $4 a gallon, he's charging $7 a gallon. You pull in. Are you going to buy his gas for $7 a gallon, or are you going to go elsewhere?
Probably I'll go elsewhere.
But wait a minute. The guy needs that money?
I'm sorry.
You wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't do it.
What could someone say to you that make you feel sorry enough for that gentleman to pay $7 a gallon when you can go down the street and get it for $4 a gallon?
It's a tough question, Denny.
No, it's not. What could you say? Could any words hit your ear that make you pay more for the gas than you have to?
No.
So where I'm leading him, what can I then do? You say it's too much for me, yet I've been telling you every week. So my question is this. Why don't you just keep the property? Why don't you just keep this investment property?
Well, you know, Denny, I don't. It's not like it's causing me too much. I could keep it. You know, it's not a big deal, and I'm not so desperate of it. As I mentioned, I have multiple properties, and even if the listing expires, no worries. You know, we can extend it. It's not a problem at all. But yeah, I trust you. I mean, like, I think you could do it.
Well, I tell you what, if you trust me, then if I give you some advice, you trust me?
Yeah.
Okay. There's 0 probability this house, your property is going to sell. So why don't we just take it off the market? Now I'm going to stop.
That's probably I should do that, Denny. I should have done that.
So what do you think of the takeaway on that? What do you think about my candor with him on that? Could you do that?
That's like a power punch, Denny. It really shows that you really care about her and not really the transaction. Rather than telling her, you know, I don't care about the transaction and all that.
What do the rest of you say?
That's a D if I ever heard one.
An overpriced listing does no one any good, period.
Who remembers my little analogy about the guy fishing in the parking lot? Somebody recant that to me. What is the analogy? You're driving down, you see a guy fishing in a parking lot. Who can tell me the story?
I mean, and he's what 100 feet away from the pump where the fish is.
He could be a mile away from the fish. His worm is sitting on the blacktop. There's no water in the parking lot. What would you think if you saw a gentleman fishing in the parking lot?
It was crazy.
Then you say, that is you, Tanner. Now, my question is, would you have the courage and the candor to be that direct? Now, remember, we're into this 10 weeks. You have nothing to say?
Probably, yeah. Probably the following time would be that conversation. Following Friday.
Why not now?
But we just had the conversation, you know.
The other thing is, if you want to be a little bit more patient, if they're an investor, I understand if it's a homeowner and they're emotionally attached because that's where they raise their babies. But this is an investor that wants to invest somewhere else. And there is a possibility, if you're a little bit more patient and you can dig down a little bit more into the motivation. I mean, it does not make sense. An investor is going to basically wait for a number and lose money on this opportunity cost of capital. So there's a good possibility there, I should say, there is a possibility that we don't really know, Tanner, you don't really know what's holding your seller back. However, here's my point and we'll go on. This is not that Dumb and Dumber situation. So you say there's a chance. It's not that at all. This seller is not expressing any interest whatsoever or motivation. If you have a seller like that, there better be some sort of ancillary benefit that you're having that listing, because you're picking up sign calls, you're holding open houses, picking up buyers, etc. The fact that, I think this could be because Tanner, you mentioned they have other property. You don't want to let go of that seller because you might be able to get their future stuff. I think you're going to get their future overpriced listings and you'll probably end up making nothing anyway.
What we must think, Danny, you know, when we agreed to really reposition it, but then she's asking me to pick the price. I send her, you know, the comps. She's like, you pick the price. Then I'm not pick.
All right, this is easy.
No,
This is easy. What's it listed at?
So there are three
I don't
properties.
need the details. What's it listed at?
3.9, but it's being sold as a package, so we would do it as individually now.
All right, but just keep it simple. 3.9, right?
That's correct.
So if you had to guess what range it would be in, what range do you think it would be in?
Around 3.5, between 3 and 3.5, maybe 3.2 the max.
All right, so I tell you what, we're gonna play a game. Tanner, you're the seller. You want my input on price?
Yeah.
We're gonna play a game. You pick a number, I pick a number. What number do you want first?
Well, ideally, I would want my original, but
No, you only get to pick one number of your price. One number. What is it gonna be?
okay, I picked my original number then.
No, I think he means the digit. What is the first digit?
What
of-
is your first digit?
First original. Okay, I got it. 3.
All right, I get to pick a number now.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like you, 3. You get to pick a number.
Okay. 9.
So now you see, it's kind of funny. And the reason I gave her the first choice, because if you thought it had to be a 2, I would have said, I get to pick the first number, 2. You get to pick the next number. You see how you can kind of gamify it a little bit?
Like that.
All right.
Thank you, Danny.
Please.
Truly appreciate it.
Tanner's stubborn today. So let's go on to somebody else.
So the Zoom square reads Sherry, but I'm not sure if it's Sherry because there are a lot of Sherrys on the Zoom.
And that's true. Well, all right. So if your name is Sherry, the young lady in the brown outfit, they're eating a cracker. You're up. That's you. Your name is wrong. That's all.
My
There you
name is
go.
wrong.
It says Sherry, but that just defaults to that. What is your name?
Kendra.
Petra, all right. And what are we
Kendra.
doing, Petra?
It's Kendra.
Kendra, I'm sorry.
Is this an outbound call?
It can be if that's what you want.
Yes.
Groovy.
Actually, no. Can we do, I'm sorry, can we do at the table? I'm trying to get the listing.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to go to Peggy.
Hello.
Peggy, you're the seller. We're
Okay.
going to have 2 minutes. And Kendra, you're at the table. And are you ready to move forward? Peggy, she asked you. Go.
Not right now. Not yet. But thank
Okay,
you.
Peggy. So Peggy, now that I've toured your home and we've talked about pricing and how we can achieve your home being the obvious choice for the market, are you ready to put me to work?
I just need to think about it, maybe sleep on it. And then I'll
Okay,
call you tomorrow.
fair enough. Now, Peggy, what questions have I not answered?
Nothing that I can think of right now. That's why I want to think about it. Sometimes I just need time.
Yeah, for sure. And aside from you needing time, is there any other reason why you wouldn't list with me today?
No,
Now, Peggy, often I find that when people need a sleep on it, that means I haven't had, I wasn't clear in my presentation, or I wasn't clear in our conversation. If you can tell me anything if you can tell me any question that I haven't answered, what would it be?
I don't have one. Like I said, I just want to think about it.
What time would you like for me to call you tomorrow?
You can call me at 10 a.m. or I'll call you.
Okay, would you like for me to stop by tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
No, I can call you.
Sure. All right, Peggy. Well, I will call you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Okay,
right.
perfect.
1:30. How'd you feel about that, Kendra?
I hated it.
Well, tell me how you really feel.
I hated it.
You hated it? All right. So all right, was there another door you did not find?
I guess I didn't dig into motivation. And she just didn't give me any other objection. And I don't know, I just felt that, I guess there was enough context. I'm not sure.
Peggy, are you holding an ace somewhere? If she would have hit the button, you would have capitulated?
I might have, but I've had that experience before. So I really wanted to just explore being that person. Because those are people who are real like that. That's real.
So we've got
They
a
won't
lot
tell
of
you.
people- Yeah, I get that. There's people that are going to give you that. And we've got a lot of good agents here, a lot of good minds on the call. This is mastery. So what I'd like is if you would have a question you would use in that scenario, share it. We'll be taking notes, and it might be a key to unlock the seller. Is there any good questions you use?
One thing I would do, Kendra, is I wouldn't say usually that means I've done or haven't done X, Y, or Z. I would say something along the lines of usually Kendra, that means that there's a question that hasn't been answered yet. Are there any questions you have for me that we can provide an answer to today? I wouldn't give them an opportunity to dissect what I've done. Like don't say usually that means I didn't do this or I didn't do that, because I'm sure you did a fabulous job.
Okay, awesome. Who else has got a question?
About
I would ask.
you and go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Joe.
Okay. You invited me, Peggy. You invited me over here to talk about listing your home. What are you wondering right now? Or what are you wondering about right now?
All right. Give me another question.
I would ask, so what, she said she wanted to sleep on it. What is sleeping on it going to do for you, Peggy?
Okay.
Well, Peggy, as of now, based on what we spoken, how do you feel about me so far, as of this moment?
That's a good one.
All right. So let's just, you think it's a good one. How would you answer that?
Well, I think you're really professional. I really like the things that you said. I like the way that you presented all of this. But this is a big decision for me, and I really don't want to take it lightly. I really want to take time. I'm not in a hurry. I do want to sell now, but I don't want to rush.
I think this is a high C personality. And if you push a high C into making a decision and they're not going to make a decision quickly, you're going to lose them altogether. I'm a high C. And I would want to, if I say I want to sleep on it, I would want to sleep on it. And if someone pushed me, I would say, then we're done. I won't even bother calling you back.
Could be true. I'm going to give you two things, two of my thoughts. One is, Peggy, I hear you. I understand. Let me ask you this. I'm going to give you a magic wand. This magic wand is going to allow you to hear anything from me at this meeting. Is there anything that I could say that would tip the needle to, you know what? This person, I believe this person can do a good job for me. Is there anything that you could hear today that would tip the needle?
I think if you said to me that I'm going to trust you, that we're going to talk tomorrow, and it's probably going to be a positive outcome for both of us, and you're going to be happy to wherever you're going to get there with me. Something like that.
That's not the answer I was looking for, Howard. If she answers the question, that might give you the end. Here's my second and last alley-oop, Hail Mary. I would say, well, all right, I respect that. Now, I believe it will work well together. So tomorrow, when you make the decision, I'm confident you'll make a decision for me. However, I feel like when the agent you hire, you want to have a good feeling with, and the agent you hire is probably one you would want to have some sort of, quote, sales skills. Meaning, if a buyer liked your home, however, wanted to think about it, and it was really the right home for them, would you want your listing agent to be able to encourage them or, quote, help them make a decision to buy your home?
Yes.
So would you forgive me? Because I don't want you to perceive this as pressure. I want you to see me work in action. I'm doing the same thing with you that I would do with a buyer. And what I want you to do is respect me for that, because that's what you would want your agent to do. And I don't think you'd want to hire an agent that would just turn around and leave without asking some more questions. Does that make sense to you?
It absolutely does.
So therefore, you're actually forward pacing them for a little bit of pressure, although I'll never say the word pressure. I'm at least planting the seed in their mind. Listen, you would want me to do this with a buyer who's deciding between your house and another, wouldn't you? So there you go. Any comments on that? We're ready to go on to the next.
That would cause me to cave. I would do that. I would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Denny,
Yeah.
when I hear that, I just hear fear. So when you attack the part that maybe she feels confused, but it's really just fear.
Well, I heard that too, Kevin. And again, she's very cautious, wanting to move forward, and she's fearful of making the wrong decision. The other card you could lay, and again, it's a very fine line between, as Louise said, if you're coming off as pressure, one of the things you can do and to actually disarm the situation is pack up your books, pack it all up like you're leaving, and then go back, be the Columbo. Well, let me just ask you this: you're concerned about making the wrong decision. And I mean, people wouldn't get married without dating. Would you consider hiring me for 2 days? Let's start the process. let's work together. Let's put the training wheels on our relationship. And if it doesn't feel right after a couple of days, we'll just stop.
That 100% would have worked with me. 100%, because it is fear. And it's a fear because I know people like this don't know how to be honest with themselves and don't know how to be honest with other people. So they can't say what's true. They can't because they're in fear. And Kevin's right. It's fear.
So
And not fear to make the wrong decision, but fear to make any decision.
I mean, I think everyone's felt fear. And for me, when I feel it, I feel more confused and I identify it as being confused more than fear. I just feel confused and I don't want to act on something so valuable and important to make the wrong decision. So for me, it's just plain confusion.
I've never done this, but why not? I mean, you're asking them to trust you. Maybe we should trust them. So along the same lines, you say, okay, I understand. I'm respectful. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just, you could use the analogy, you would never marry without dating. I tell you what, why don't you just do me a favor? Here's all my stuff's packed up. Here's the agreement. Whenever I say contract. What if you just put an X here? And what this X is going to do is allow me to go ahead and start the process. Now, it's not legal. It's only like, hey, so far I like you. I'll start the process of ordering the photography. Now, again, this will probably not happen very often, but if you really want the listing, you want to win the listing, why don't we risk a little bit? Yeah, you have to maybe get the photos, this, that, and the other. However, I can tell you, I don't know how many other agents would be willing to do that. Car dealers will let you take the car home, for goodness sake. Why? It's called the puppy dog. Why not? If they have that fear, why don't you let them baby step into the relationship? And I don't know, I would do it on a certain circumstance. So Louise, what do you think we have going up next?
I think Joe Barnes is calling Louise. Or at the table with Louise. I don't know. What is the scenario, Joe Barnes?
Joe Barnes has a question. He's running into the issue with expireds on the phone where everyone's got an agent and are being very aggressive about it. Probably because they're getting a lot of calls. So I'm trying to figure out, I would love to hear any feedback from anyone about how, after we do this role play, what could be done to soften them up and get them talking and get into motivation when you're getting call my agent right out of the gate.
So when you're saying they're being aggressive, who's being aggressive?
Well, I guess they're saying quite loudly and forcefully, call my agent.
Is this an expired or for sale by owner?
Correct. Expired, not for sale by owner.
Okay.
Okay. Well, somebody want to handle that from a by owner standpoint? I mean, or do you want to call?
Expired, so,
Do it,
yeah,
Joe.
I've received that, Joe. And I wondered if they were aware that they weren't under contract anymore.
You know, that's a good question.
You can call me. I'll do it because I've been on the receiving end of that one.
Okay.
Got a minute 15. Go.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, good morning. This is Joe Barnes from Keller Williams. Is this the owner of 123 Main?
Hey, it is. Yeah, we're getting a lot of calls. Call our agent, please.
I bet you are. Yeah. Can I just ask, are you aware that your property is no longer listed on the market?
I don't know what that means, but we have an agent handling our house. Can you call them, please?
I can. Who's your agent?
It's Peggy Rose.
Okay. And do you have Peggy's number?
Yes.
Could I take it so I can give her a call?
Yeah, it's blah blah blah. So you would just call the agent.
Well, I'm trying to get them talking more by telling me stuff.
Yeah, it's 800 for a good time. Call Peggy Rose.
There you go.
Okay, I'll give her a call. Hey, before I let you go, you said you are the owner, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is this still for sale or not?
It is, yes.
Okay. it just came off the market, meaning it's no longer being advertised for sale. Has your agent called you about this yet today?
No, I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, you had this listed for sale because I presume you want to sell it, right?
Yeah. Do you mean the contract has expired with our agent?
It could be that. Do you know if your contract has expired with your agent?
It could have. I didn't realize it, but
That's time right there.
yeah, but that's kind of what I wonder. I wonder if they realize that the term of the contract has expired.
Well, let's dissect this and be kind of practical about it. If it's just expired that day, what's the probability they've had several calls? So if you're the first call, that's one thing. However, and they said, I think Louise made some sort of statement about, yeah, well, I got several calls, call my agent. Here's what I would have said. You don't have an agent.
Okay.
Or are you talking about the agent that fired you?
Whoa, fired you. Come on, tell me more.
I like that. Actually, Joe, I don't know how long you've been doing the expires call. I get this all the time. Sometimes if they're just coming out with punching, because you probably call them the first day, 2 or 3 days, they're very angry. Either they don't want to talk to you, and or maybe they were expecting some calls. So the only way you just have to let it go. There's no way of softening the blow, or like to the point where Denny was saying, you don't have an agent, or your agent fired you. So that actually is a pattern interrupt, and I love that.
Yeah,
So
or the agent who abandoned you. I mean, so if you can make them stop and ask a question, so and because and I guess Louise was a little bit confused, didn't really, I think because she was attempting to model the fact they don't know our terminology, expired. So then you went back and said, well, your home is no longer for sale for the 13,000 real estate agents in our valley. Are you aware of that? So that is either because you don't want to sell it anymore, or your agent's given up on selling it.
Okay. Cool. It sounds like a pattern interrupt is what I need to practice then.
Denny, if you were to speak with a seller and said, it looks like your agent has fired you, what would you say after that? Because it's going to cause some jaws to drop.
Well,
yeah.
I only thought about it today. I haven't used that line yet. That's why I love talking to you guys, because you make me think. And I just want to get your reaction. So it was a pattern interrupt you. And so basically, well, think about it. If their home is off the market and their agent doesn't know, they've either, you call it abandoned or fired or who knows what. There is no excuse for us as a listing agent not to have called our sellers and let them know, hey, tomorrow you're going to get a lot of calls. Don't worry about it. It's part of the strategy. That's how proactive I would be. However, if they're not making the call, then they've been abandoned or fired. I don't like that seller anymore. So
I like that, Denny. I do like that. Maybe instead of being your
California, they'll go right to the jugular.
instead of getting that your agent fire you, that's kind of have a negative connotation. I would just say, oh, your agent abandoned you. I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
And Joe, honestly, if you get that negativity from the agent, from the sellers, you just have to like walk back. I did that, and I actually got listing from it.
Well, the other thing is, I love the pattern interrupt you guys are talking about. So let me ask you, I understand you're frustrated. Are you frustrated that you didn't get this kind of activity before your home came off the market? Or are you frustrated that it didn't sell or something? Or wouldn't you have liked to have this much interest in your home last week? Would you like to talk about why you didn't? So anyway, so we got some hands up here. We've got Janet's playing. Miguel, you look like you're from, where is that? It either looks like that doesn't look like Ohio, Miguel.
I'm in Miami.
All right, I knew it was Ohio. So Janet, you're making a call or at the table. What do you want?
Okay,
There she
I
goes.
didn't do that on purpose.
Now you're muted.
Did I unmute? Okay. So this morning I was doing circle prospecting and I did some practicing around the first 10 seconds of the call. So let's do that.
All right, let's get on the bull. Everyone get ready to rate, give her a score in the chat, please. We are the diving or gymnastic judges. All right, this is going to be your opening. So get out your little fingers, go to the chat and give her a 5 to a 10. 10 is the perfect score. All right, Janet, you're calling me. Ring, ring. Hello.
Ooh. Oh. Hello. This is Janet Bloodworth with Keller Williams. Thank you for taking my call. I just sold a home on Keystone. And as a homeowner on Keystone, who do you know who is selling their home in this hot market?
All right, there's your bull ride.
Is that better?
Well, let's ask the judges. Yeah, man, we've got a mastery level of people here. Put in the chat. I'm going to go to the chat. And again, everyone uses a little sandpaper here and there. I know you're attempting to get better. Where is the chat thing? Where is it? Here, it's over here. All right, can you see the chat, Janet?
Yeah, I can see it.
I see 5, 6, 8, 8.
I haven't got it. Okay, hold on. I have to pull it down.
6.5.
It doesn't move on its own. Well,
So,
thank you.
All right, you guys, then obviously give Janet some coaching.
Well, I think from this morning, just to get back with you, Susan, I don't know if you were on the call. I really bombed it this morning, but I practiced it maybe 50 times. So you got to remember, I'm in front of all you guys and I'm a little bit ADHD. So there you go.
I made her say it 10 times in a row without stopping.
Well,
All right.
God bless you, Janet. You're doing great. The only thing is the whole opening was kind of a little longer. Probably you should cut it at some point, ask question, then continue. That's the feedback I would have.
Okay, give me an example.
Say you call Joe Barnes. Hi, thank you for taking my call. Did I reach Joe Barnes at whatever it is?
Okay.
To engage them, right?
Yeah.
So
Jenna, is it a just listed or just sold?
it's a circle prospect.
Okay, I actually have something for you, really short and brief. It's, hi, my name is Susan. Thank you for taking my call. I know I'm calling you out of the blue. I just saw a property over on 123 Maple Street, and I have buyers willing to pay full price for your property. Are you open-minded to having this conversation with me? That's it.
I'll tell you what, Susan, I will put my phone number in there. Would you text that to me so I can chew on it?
Here's the thing, guys, and we're going to move on. You can share whatever you want, but here's the issue. If the words aren't as important as the practice, you notice she did that, and she talks fast anyway, and it's probably faster than she would actually do it on for real. However, she knows it, and you cannot master internalize a conversation between recon from 9:30 to 10 Eastern to now we're 1 to 2 Eastern. You work on it. There's nothing wrong with the words, Janet, you use, but you did not do it smoothly. And you look at your scores, there's room for improvement.
Yeah,
I tell you what, if you practice it between now and next week, we'll do it again. And there's no reason you can't not hit that 10, because it's only 8 or 10 seconds. Hi, this is Denny Grimes, Keller Williams. So listen, before you hang up, I want to know if I could ask you 2 quick questions.
Too fast, Denny.
What? Say what?
You're too fast.
I'm not attempting to I got that. What I'm saying is you.
But he's clear.
People to deliver it like that.
Confidence.
Yeah.
You should be able to deliver it with your eyes closed. Anyway, good, Janet. Come back and let's evaluate that next week. So Janet, you were going with Miguel, Miami Miguel. You ever hear a place called Wellington? Okay, Miguel. What do you want to do? You're the agent. You're going to be calling. Let's go. I've got Terry Rocca. Terry, you're going to be the client. You want to buy or seller or at the table or call?
This is my first time doing this type of recon. So is it that I have a choice of this topic I want to talk about?
Well, you're going to get the easy part. You're the buyer or the seller.
Okay.
No pressure.
I'll be the seller.
All right. So Miguel, you're going to be calling the seller at the table. What do you want, Miguel?
Calling.
All right. So it is a seller or is it an expired? What is it?
It's an expired.
All right. So Terry, you are the expired seller. So whatever comes to your mind. Got a minute 15 to make me happy. Ring, ring, go.
Hi, Terry. Good morning. This is Miguel Castillo with Keller Williams. Am I catching you at a bad time?
Well, I'm actually mopping my floor, but what you got?
Well, I was just giving you a call. One, to let you know that your home has came off the market, and two, to find out what were your plans.
I'm not even aware of this. What are you talking about?
Well, I see here, are you the owner here of the house on 123 Main Street?
Yeah, it's on the market with Acme Realty.
Yes, well, that's part of my call today. Actually, I'm calling to inform you that it appears that your home has came off the market. And so I wanted to give you a call and find out from the source, actually, why do you think the house did not sell?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to call my agent about this because I'm pretty upset that you're the one telling me and he's not. I don't really feel like he did any marketing, and as you're calling me, he kind of ghosted me. I mean, he's not been very communicative, so it's been a real rough ride.
Wow, yeah, I could understand your frustration, and I mean, I mean, how many people do this ghosting thing these days is just beyond me. Let me ask you, Mary, if I were to help you and be able to help you get this property sold in the next 30 or 60 days, would that pose a problem for you?
Well, of course that sounds great, but what are you going to do differently that he's from him?
Time.
Oh.
Terry, you did an awesome job.
Oh, thank you.
Except mopping the floor. Who mops floors anymore? I'm just kind of curious. All right, who's got some feedback from Miguel in Miami?
Hey, Miguel,
Hey,
you called her Mary at one point. I would just always be sure to call them by their name.
got it.
I think that Miguel said something, identifying, oh, like, ooh, and then, but he was thinking about the next thing he should say to identify. Just stick to the one thing. It was great.
Can you clarify? What do you mean in terms of identifying?
Yeah, toward the end, you were identifying with her, saying, "Oh, yeah, everybody's ghosting these days," something like that. But you said you were looking for the second thing to say, and I think maybe that was it. But you said one thing, but then you paused to think of another thing to say.
Yeah, I was literally looking through a list of closing terms that I was kind of gonna pinpoint which one, and right before Denny called time, I was about to do my close.
That was a good catch, Peggy.
The more comfortable you get with this, you don't have to look at a sheet. So I'm gonna give you some things that probably Susan would give you feedback. I don't like the question, is this a good time? Because that could be no, hang up. Say, look, you call, this is Denny Grimes, Keller Williams, a local real estate agent. And I would probably say, look, you have 30 seconds. I see your home is no longer for sale. Do you have 30 seconds? Let me ask a couple questions or whatever. I like parentheses around my time if I'm going to be at the other end. Here's the main point though. When she started saying, well, I didn't know, my agent didn't call me, blah, blah, blah. Well, they kind of thought, well, it sounds like you still want to sell. Let me ask you, when you sold, you could have asked a little bit of motivation, number one. And that would have been a good opportunity. And the other point was when she started ragging on her agent, remember, we talk about acknowledgement, like being pithy about it. Here's where I think you should have been sympathetic. You know what? You did not deserve that type of service. So it sounds like you still want to move, and I'm assuming you're going to be looking for the right agent this time. Would that be true? I mean, there was no sympathy like, oh, you lost your cat. Well, I sell cats for a living. I mean, you gotta have a little sympathy with them, you know, pace them a little bit. Does that make sense? You guys, am I making sense?
Yes.
Do you remember a while back, Jen had one of her assistants or one of her team members on the phone or on the Zoom who role played with us, and she created, oh, not doubt might not be the right word, but she said something like, "Hey, it sounds like your agent didn't do a good job of communicating with you." And then she went on to say, like, later, "I'm sorry you didn't have great communication with your agent." That seemed to like open the door and create the conversation with the consumer.
By agreeing.
More sympathizing.
But pointing out, I'm sorry, it was a way of pointing out what the agent didn't do without discrediting the agent. I'm sorry your agent didn't communicate that with you, or I'm sorry you didn't get that communication from your agent. But basically, the agent wasn't a good communicator. It was the message.
Yes, well, it's okay. Again, the point that I want everyone to know is when they give an objection, our acknowledgement is short. When they're complaining or sharing their emotional experience, don't make that short. You don't. I'm not saying slam the agent, but be empathetic. Make sure you feel that, and that'll make you sound different. 148. So I got Susan's hand up. So I know she's doing an outbound call. I've never heard Susan at the table. I don't think she ever has objections at the table. So Susan, what are we doing?
You said at the table. Well, geez, I'm meeting. I'm meeting a seller today. We're selling about half of his portfolio. He has 6 properties that he's selling, and I put everything in a spreadsheet. Sales price. Minus payoff amount, minus cost of sale, and then what he's gonna net. And then I'm about to put in a purchase price, how much he paid for, so he doesn't have to pay that much capital gains, so forth. So I'm about to have this conversation with him. At one of the units that he's trying to sell is a 6-unit property, apartment building, and he wants 2.2 million. I comped it at best 1.5. And I don't even know how I can get him to lower that price, but I think everything else is very easy, but this particular one is 2.2. So it's about price.
So is he a C personality?
No, I think he's more like I.
Well, I'm not an I. Do we have an I out there? Louise is an I. All right, she's an I. All right, there's an I. All right, so let's go. You're at the table. Go. 2 minutes.
Okay, all right, Luis. I think everything else is fine, but one particular property that you want is 2.2 million. We visited this back in January, and I show you all the things here. All the property with 6 units, they're asking for probably $1.2 million. And you're asking for 2.2. It's really, really high. And there's a 10-unit just sold not too long ago, and they had it for 2.2 million, but they closed at $2,030,000. So how are we going to sell the property at 2.2 million out the floodgate without how are we going to sell your unit at 2.2 million when a 10 unit was sold 2.3 or $2.2 million?
Are you asking how do I justify that price?
Hang on 1 second. That was 50 seconds.
I know. Yeah.
All right, I'm taking a nap. So where was the question other than I think you're nuts?
How am I supposed to help you sell this property when other units that has a lot more units than yours that sold at $2 million?
So let me give you another approach. So Louise, you're the seller. So I'm going to go back and start again. So Louise, so here I brought some home these multi-unit properties that have sold. past sales, fair enough? And you're looking at a per unit cost on these. Which one of these do you think is most similar to yours?
I think that one.
Okay, and so that was a 4-unit, and then basically that would then, based on that, and you're a 4-unit or 6-unit, it would come out to about 1.3 million. How does that sound to you?
It sounds too low.
Okay, and what
How
number?
they have 10 units that are smaller in square footage than my 4 or 6 units are.
But if you're looking at a unit cost or a square foot cost, what I'm don't get me in the weeds here, because I'm flying blind on this. The past sales are suggesting either on a unit cost, which would be probably how you do it, or a square footage cost, that would then comp out. Let me just say that about 1.2 to 1.5.
That's not acceptable. I would like this higher price.
And what number is in your mind?
2.2.
And then, okay, so I'm going to have investors ask me to justify that. How can I justify that?
That's the way to go.
I'm sorry?
That's the way to go. Like, no, out of role play, that's the way to go. Ask them how they derive that price. Like, can you help me understand how you came to derive this price, Susan? Because what I'm looking at these and I'm coming up with this price. Can you help me understand how you came up with your price?
So this kind of like, in my opinion, when people make an investment and they want to cash out, they have a goal in mind. They want a net dollar amount. So you cut up to, you get rid of the $200,000 because that's pretty much the selling cost, right? And then you would net $2 million. And that's the problem I'm facing right now. Sellers have a dollar in mind, a goal in mind. That's what they want to net. And I want to be able to use that. Just because you have, you made an investment, you can use your property as a,
Yeah, but what she's saying, hang on, Susan, I'm going to interrupt you. What we're saying is ask them to justify it. People are going to ask me, how did this seller come up with this number? What do I tell them?
yeah, I like that. How do you justifying it? Well, he's going to say, well, I have tenants.
Role play, yeah. So
okay.
So role play with me. What do I tell them?
Well, you know what, Denny, I'm right now the property is netting 12,300 in income, and you have Section 8 tenants there, and then you have, they're good tenants. The property is well maintained. I don't see any other property just like this one.
So if properties are selling on net operating income cap rate, investment property is a number. It's a price per gallon. So I would go say, so there's other property. Let me use an analogy. If somebody's asking, you're in California, probably $6 a gallon, and somebody across the street wants $7 a gallon. How am I going to sell $7 gas when there's $6 across the street?
Then I'll just take it off the market.
Okay. All right. Now, where would you go from there, you guys? Where would you go from there?
With your plans.
Go to motivation.
There you go. Motivation.
I'm gonna get
Because
me a
what do they
copy
need the money
sometime.
for? I mean, why are you selling? What do you need that
here's
money
the
for?
thing. He is retiring. He's in 76. He literally is selling out his portfolio to cash out, and he doesn't want to have to pay capital gains. I talked to him about the Delaware statute, the DST, about moving the money over there. He doesn't want to do that either. So I'm kind of like, what to do? I think right now is the price, right?
So
why is 2 million a problem for you? Why, or 1 point whatever? Why is the price that is it gonna sell at? Why is that a problem for that person?
What about,
because you can't, it doesn't comp that. It doesn't even comp at 2 point, not even 1.5.
what about the knuckle bump? Hey, Susan, I agree. if we can agree on that price, are you prepared to hire me? Like, get them to commit and then go into the price positioning conversation, right? Because you would want to isolate it and make sure that's the only issue.
I would, if he's coming close to, let's say, 1.7, I would, but I can't, I'm not gonna waste my time and my money doing that. It's just too much, it's too much stress on me.
No,
When I
no.
put,
I'm not saying that you would take the listing for that price, but you would get him to agree to work with you. And then once you get the agreement, then go into the price positioning conversation.
and how will you do that? Because we're kind of having that conversation. When he wants 2.2.
Wait, this is how you do it. So you're saying if I were to list it at 2.2 today, are you ready to move forward with me?
Yeah.
All right, awesome, knuckle bump. Now that we've agreed to work together, can I tell you what's going to happen next?
Sure.
One of three things will happen. What will you do? And I'll go over the three things. What will you do if the market says no?
Hello?
Well,
What's up?
I'm not gonna sell it.
Janet, mute yourself. Okay, so you're gonna keep it.
Yeah. Maybe
What
it's
if
not the right time.
Okay, what if it never comes to 2.2?
Oh, just wait.
How old are you?
Then you don't need the money.
So then there's one more thing I would say, guys, as we kind of wrap it up. So let me ask you, let me just ask you this out of role play. Is there any chance it could sell higher than you think?
Yes.
Okay, so all right, so let's just assume now, this is the last thing I would say, and I have done this many times. So you can see based on cap rate, based on any sort of measurement, your home does not quote, and I wouldn't say this, but I'm saying if you comp out at 2.2, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, however, if a buyer will pay that, do you win and I win?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Therefore, we're on the same team. Here's my question. If a buyer, if a market, if I can't have a hole in one in a hurricane, meaning you're giving me something that's totally impossible, if there's no buyers that exist in the world today that would do that, my question is, after maybe 60 days, we would know. And after 60 days, it has not sold, no offers, nothing at that price. My question is this: what do you think, Denny? I appreciate you because you rolled the dice, and it was a very low probability that we'd win, but you rolled them with and you took it on. And you know what? You're my realtor for the rest of my life. Or you think, by golly, you suck as an agent. You didn't sell my property. I'm going to tell everybody I know that you're not a good agent. Because if you're going to do that, I would rather turn you down than let you down.
I like that.
You don't want them to badmouth you because you're going and building a set of cabinets that if he doesn't like them, you just wasted all your time and money.
Yeah.
So why would you want to enter a relationship where they're going to badmouth you?
But I also I reflect on the time when we talked about, sorry, I like the fact that when we talked about, I listened to the market, I followed the market, I studied the market, and if you were to listen, I conveyed the message to you, and if you were to listen to me, the house would sell, the property would sell. I kind of like that more, and then lead them in rather than putting that in their head.
Well, that's awesome. Let us know how it goes next week, and we're all in for a referral fee. We're going to split a 35% referral fee on it. Okay.
Of course.
All right, you guys. Well, it's Friday. Anybody have a great aha? Give me one or two ahas we had today. I appreciate your participation.
I definitely like that gas station at Denny. I love it.
Good.
Let's go fishing in the cement.
There you go, fishing in Target parking lot. Any more? Thank you for playing. If you've been
Everything.
first on, where are we here? Where's the young lady who did it? Where'd she go? Terry? I think it was Terry.
Yes. Hi.
Kendra, good job.
And Terry.
Yes.
Kendra.
So, you guys are awesome. Have a good weekend. Love you, meeting. Knuckle up. Be careful out there. And Janet, practice.
Thank you, Denny.
Bye.